Have you ever felt like you're on a spiritual path that you can't quite explain? A journey that feels bigger than yourself, but also leaves you wondering, what's the next step? Are there specific stages of transformation that we must go through in order to reach spiritual awakening? It's a question many of us ask as we venture deeper into our spiritual journeys. For some, this process is sudden like a lightning bolt of realization. For others, it unfolds more slowly over years of growth, introspection, and practice. But one thing remains true: spiritual transformation isn't just a one-time event, it's an ongoing evolution of our consciousness and emotions. Spiritual transformation is a complex and deeply personal journey. It's not just about practicing meditation or attending religious services. It's about a shift in consciousness, a deepening of our understanding of who we are and our place in the universe. Along the way, we encounter a series of stages, each one carrying its own challenges, realizations, and insights. These stages may vary for each person depending on their background beliefs and life experiences. One person's spiritual path might be a journey of intense inner turmoil, while another might experience peace and clarity with each step forward. But despite the differences, the underlying goal is the same: to help us connect more profoundly with our higher selves, with others, and with the universe. At every stage of transformation, we are called to expand, to broaden our perception, embrace deeper truths, and shed old identities that no longer serve us. These shifts often lead to profound emotional changes where what we once held true is questioned and new ways of thinking emerge. These transformations are the growing pains of the soul, but they also bring immense clarity and purpose as we evolve spiritually. In this video, we're going to take a deeper look at the stages of spiritual transformation. By the end of it, you'll have a clearer understanding of the different phases you might encounter on your own journey and what they mean for your spiritual growth. We will break down the key stages of spiritual transformation, explaining what each one involves and why it's so essential for our development. We'll also help you identify where you might be in your own spiritual journey. If you've ever felt uncertain about the direction you're headed, or wondered if you're on the right path, this video will give you a better sense of clarity about your stage of transformation. Finally, we'll explore the truth that each stage presents unique challenges, but also opportunities for growth. Whether you're in a phase of intense questioning or experiencing a period of deep inner peace, each stage has something to teach you. Embracing these moments is key to unlocking the next level of spiritual understanding. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss more insightful content on spiritual journeys. By subscribing, you're joining a community of like-minded individuals who are all on their own paths of awakening and growth. The initial stage of spiritual transformation is often marked by a deep, unsettling desire to search for something greater than oneself. It's the beginning of a journey that feels both mysterious and profound. At this stage, many people experience a powerful pull to understand life's deeper meaning, to connect with something beyond the physical world, and to discover their true purpose in life. It is not uncommon for individuals in this stage to feel a spiritual hunger, an inner void that cannot be filled by the material success, social approval, or intellectual knowledge. Despite having external accomplishments, a person may still feel that something is missing, a sense of incompleteness or longing for a deeper connection to the universe or a higher power. This search for purpose often stems from the realization that conventional answers to life's big questions, answers that were once satisfying, no longer seem adequate. The comfortable beliefs and explanations that we grew up with or carried throughout our lives begin to feel insufficient. As a result, confusion sets in. We start to question everything. Who are we really? What is our purpose here on Earth? Is there a greater meaning to suffering and hardship? What is the nature of God or the universe? These questions swirl in our minds, creating a storm of uncertainty and doubt. During this stage, it's natural to feel disoriented. For many, the process of searching for spiritual truth brings a deep sense of discomfort. It's as if the familiar foundations of life are being shaken, and the answers we once took for granted are now up for questioning. This uncertainty can lead to anxiety, frustration, and sometimes even a sense of spiritual crisis. We may feel as though we're walking through a fog with no clear direction or end in sight. At this point, the search can feel overwhelming. We want to find answers, but there seems to be no single clear path to follow. We may try different approaches, testing out new practices, philosophies, or religions, hoping to find something that resonates with us and brings clarity. Yet despite the effort, we may still feel as though we're nowhere closer to the peace and understanding we desire. The confusion, however, is a necessary part of the journey. It is a phase that signals growth and transformation. While it might not feel comfortable, it is in this stage that we begin to break down old limiting beliefs and create space for new, expansive ways of thinking. Recognizing the signs of this stage can help individuals understand that they are indeed on the right path, even though it may seem chaotic or frustrating. Some of the most common characteristics of this stage include 1. A sense of discomfort with what is familiar. One of the most noticeable signs of this stage is the discomfort with old ways of thinking and living. What once felt normal or right no longer resonates with us. This may relate to relationships, work, personal values, or even religious practices. It can feel like a disconnect from the life we once knew. What we thought we understood about life ourselves and the world around us no longer feels authentic or meaningful. The familiar routines and beliefs feel stale, and there's a sense of wanting something more, a deeper, more fulfilling way of living. 2. A desire to seek truth and meaning. At this stage, people often find themselves searching for a deeper truth. This might include a desire to understand the mysteries of existence, the nature of consciousness, or the underlying meaning of suffering and joy. There is an inner drive to seek answers to profound questions that have no easy solutions. This desire to seek truth may lead one to explore new ideas, philosophies, and spiritual practices in the hopes of finding something that resonates with their evolving worldview. 3. Experimenting with different beliefs, practices, or spiritual paths. As part of the search for a meaning, many people experiment with different beliefs, practices, or spiritual traditions. This could include reading various religious texts, attending spiritual retreats, exploring different forms of meditation or prayer, or seeking out wisdom from different cultures or philosophical schools of thought. In doing so, individuals may find themselves drawn to practices or ideas that they had never considered before, and they might experience a sense of wonder or excitement as they explore new ways of connecting with the divine or the universe. 4. However, this exploration can also lead to confusion and frustration, especially when it seems like no one practice or belief fully satisfies the longing for spiritual truth. It's common for individuals at this stage to feel that they are bouncing from one belief to another, trying to find the path that feels right but often falling short. This trial and error process, though uncomfortable, is part of the growth process. The confusion and uncertainty of the initial stage can be unsettling, but it is not a stage that we need to fear or resist. Rather, it's a necessary phase of spiritual growth and development. Here are some ways to navigate and overcome this stage out. 1. Accept confusion as a natural part of the journey. The first step in overcoming confusion is to accept it. It's easy to feel frustrated when the answers aren't clear, or when we find ourselves feeling lost in the search for meaning. However, understanding that confusion is a natural part of the spiritual journey can help alleviate the anxiety that often accompanies this phase. Just as a seed must be planted in dark soil before it can grow into something beautiful, so too must we go through periods of uncertainty and questioning in order to emerge with new wisdom and understanding. This is a time to let go of the need for immediate answers. The discomfort and confusion are not signs that we're off track. They are signals that we are in the process of shedding old beliefs and making space for new insights. It's important to trust that the answers will come in time, often when we least expect them. 2. Practice meditation. prayer or self-reflection to connect with inner feelings. Meditation and prayer are two of the most effective tools to help us connect with our inner selves during times of confusion. Through meditation, we can quiet the mind and gain clarity about what truly resonates with us. Meditation allows us to move beyond the noise and distractions of daily life, creating space for inner peace and insight. It can help us access a deeper level of intuition and understanding even when we don't have all the answers. 3. Prayer, whether it's asking for guidance, offering gratitude, or simply being in communication with the divine, can also provide comfort and clarity. Through prayer, we invite divine assistance and open ourselves to receiving wisdom, understanding that we are not alone in our journey. Additionally, self-reflection is crucial. Taking time to journal or sit quietly with our thoughts can help us process our emotions and fears and gain insights into why we feel the way we do. Reflecting on our past experiences and considering what beliefs or practices we are drawn to can also provide clarity about our next steps. 4. Seek support through books, teachings, or a spiritual community. One of the most beneficial ways to navigate this stage is to seek support from those who have walked this path before. Books, teachings, and other resources can offer valuable perspectives on the spiritual journey. Reading the works of spiritual leaders, philosophers, or authors who have explored similar questions can help guide us through this uncertain time. 5. Additionally, finding a spiritual community, whether through a church meditation group, online forum, or even a group of like-minded friends, can provide comfort and encouragement. Being around others who are also searching or who have experienced similar feelings can help us feel less isolated and more supported. Sometimes simply knowing that others are going through the same struggles can provide immense relief. It's important to remember that no one needs to go through this phase alone. Connecting with others who understand the complexities of spiritual awakening can help us feel grounded as we navigate through the confusion. The initial stage of spiritual transformation, marked by searching confusion and a desire for deeper meaning, is a powerful and essential part of the journey. While it may feel uncomfortable and frustrating at times, it is a stage of profound growth. By accepting confusion, practicing meditation, seeking support, and allowing ourselves to experiment with different beliefs, we can move through this stage with grace and trust that the answers we seek will eventually unfold. The search itself is part of the transformation, and each step along the way brings us closer to the truth we are meant to discover. The intermediate stage of spiritual transformation is often regarded as one of the most challenging and transformative phases. At this point in the journey, we move beyond the initial quest for meaning and begin to delve into self-discovery. This stage is marked by a deep exploration of the inner world, where we confront aspects of ourselves that may have been hidden, repressed, or ignored. This phase is not just about gaining intellectual knowledge, it's about integrating the truths of who we really are at a core level, including the parts of us we may not want to acknowledge. At the heart of this stage is the encounter with the shadow self, the parts of ourselves that are uncomfortable, imperfect, or wounded. We may begin to confront the fears, insecurities, and doubts that we've kept hidden from ourselves and the world. These shadow aspects often represent parts of us that we are ashamed of, parts that don't align with our ideal self-image. As we explore these deeper aspects of our psyche, we may experience emotional pain, sometimes deep and intense, as we come to terms with our limitations and unresolved inner conflicts. This stage requires us to face the truth about ourselves. We must be willing to confront not only our strengths and positive attributes, but also our weaknesses, mistakes, and the shadow traits we tend to avoid. It's only by acknowledging and embracing these darker aspects that we can truly grow spiritually. The challenge here is to recognize that our imperfections and vulnerabilities are not something to be ashamed of. They are part of what makes us human, and accepting them is the first step toward healing. Along with this self-confrontation, we may experience pain, loss, and feelings of isolation. This is especially true when the things we once held dear, such as certain beliefs, relationships, or identities, are being dismantled or questioned. It's common to feel a sense of grief as we let go of old ways of thinking, beliefs, or attachments. Loss can come in many forms: the loss of old relationships, the loss of a sense of control, or the loss of the person we once thought we were. This is a crucial moment where we must learn to surrender to the process and allow ourselves to undergo the necessary transformation. At this point, the journey can feel overwhelming. There may be moments of profound confusion, self-doubt, and even spiritual crisis. We might feel lost or disconnected from the higher truths we once felt so close to. However, this discomfort is not a sign of failure. Rather, it's an indication that we are in the midst of deep spiritual growth. The process of self-discovery is never easy, but it is essential for anyone wishing to evolve spiritually. As we enter this stage, we may experience several distinctive emotional, mental, and spiritual signs that indicate we are confronting our deeper truths. Some of the most common characteristics include 1. Feelings of emotional pain or spiritual crisis. One of the most noticeable signs of this stage is the emotional pain that arises as we confront the truth about ourselves. We may feel a spiritual crisis, a sense of being lost or disconnected from the divine or from our previous beliefs. This emotional turmoil often stems from the realization that many of our previous assumptions, beliefs, and attachments were not as grounded in truth as we once thought. The process of confronting our imperfections and the shadow aspects of our personality can bring up deep emotional wounds such as shame, guilt, or sadness that we've carried for years. These wounds might not be fully healed, and facing them can be painful, but this confrontation is necessary for growth. 2. Confronting fears, past wounds, or experiencing major life challenges. This is the stage when old fears or past wounds surface and we are forced to confront them head-on. These could be fears of failure, fear of rejection, or even existential fears about our purpose in life. Past wounds such as unresolved trauma or childhood experiences may resurface, forcing us to process and heal these old emotional scars. These may manifest as feelings of anger, regret, or grief that we've carried throughout our lives. At the same time, we may encounter life challenges. Events such as relationship difficulties, career setbacks, or personal health crises that force us to face our vulnerabilities and limitations. These challenges often serve as a catalyst for spiritual awakening, as they push us to look within and reflect on who we are at a deeper level. 3. Seeking healing and growth through practices. As we go through this stage, we are likely to seek out practices that support our healing and growth. This could include meditation, yoga, journaling, or therapy. These practices help us access the deeper layers of our consciousness and work through the emotional and spiritual turmoil we may be experiencing. Spiritual conversations with mentors, teachers, or close friends can also be a source of support. Talking through our experiences with others who understand the process can help provide clarity and reassurance. During this stage, many individuals also turn to spiritual practices that allow them to connect with a higher power or the universe. This could include prayer, energy healing, or other rituals designed to help us align with our spiritual essence. While the intermediate stage can feel overwhelming and at times painful, it is essential for deep spiritual transformation. Here are several ways to navigate through this challenging yet transformative stage. 1. Embrace and love the shadow aspects of yourself. One of the most important steps in overcoming this stage is to embrace the shadow aspects of yourself, the parts of you that you might have been avoiding or repressing. These shadow traits often include our insecurities, fears, imperfections, and past traumas. Loving the shadow means accepting these parts of ourselves without judgment or shame. Instead of denying or rejecting the uncomfortable aspects of who we are, we need to acknowledge them and integrate them into our sense of self. Self-love is a powerful tool in this stage as it allows us to accept our whole being, flaws and all. 2. Practice self-forgiveness and learn to accept imperfection. One of the biggest challenges of the intermediate stage is accepting our imperfection. We may have carried guilt or regret from past actions, or we may feel that we are not living up to some ideal version of ourselves. Self-forgiveness is key to overcoming these feelings. Forgiving ourselves for past mistakes and letting go of self-criticism opens the door to healing. It's important to remind ourselves that we are human and imperfection is part of the experience. Spiritual growth isn't about being perfect, it's about being open to learning, evolving and growing through our challenges. 3. Seek support from mentors, friends, or communities that share the goal of spiritual growth. Navigating the intermediate stage can feel isolating, but it's essential to seek support during this phase. Finding a mentor or spiritual guide who can provide wisdom and perspective can be incredibly helpful. A mentor who has walked the spiritual path can offer guidance, share their experiences, and help us understand the deeper lessons we are learning. Spiritual communities, whether online or in person, can also provide vital support. Being part of a group that shares similar goals of spiritual growth and self-discovery can help us feel less alone. These communities offer a safe space for sharing challenges, exchanging insights, and receiving encouragement. 4. Close friendships are also crucial. Connecting with people who understand the process and who support your growth can provide emotional safety and comfort. Sometimes simply talking through your feelings with someone who listens can ease the emotional burden. 5. Be patient and trust the process. Above all, it's important to remember that the intermediate stage is a process, not a destination. Healing takes time, and the insights you gain may not always come immediately. Trust that the pain you feel is a part of your evolution, and that it will lead to greater understanding and peace. Patience is key. Instead of rushing to fix the pain or jump ahead to the next phase of spiritual transformation, allow yourself the time and space to fully experience and integrate the lessons of this stage. Trust that with time you will emerge stronger and wiser, equipped with the tools necessary for deeper spiritual awakening. The intermediate stage of spiritual transformation is often a time of deep introspection and confrontation with our inner truths. It can be difficult, filled with emotional pain, self-doubt, and fear. Yet it is also an essential stage for growth and spiritual maturity. By embracing the shadow aspects of ourselves, practicing self-forgiveness, seeking support, and being patient with the process, we can navigate this stage with grace and emerge more aligned with our true spiritual nature. This stage may not always be comfortable, but it is crucial in the journey toward authenticity and spiritual awakening. By learning to confront our fears and limitations, we make space for healing growth and a deeper connection to ourselves and the universe. Through this episode, we learn that spiritual transformation is not about avoiding discomfort, but about embracing the lessons that come from facing the truth about who we are and how we relate to the world around us. The advanced stage of spiritual transformation is often described as the stage of awakening and harmony. This is the point in our journey where we begin to feel a profound shift in how we relate to the universe, ourselves, and others. After confronting our inner truths, facing our fears, and working through deep emotional pain, we enter a phase where we experience inner peace, clarity, and a heightened sense of connection to the world around us. At this stage, our consciousness expands and we begin to perceive reality in a much broader way. We no longer see ourselves as isolated beings, separate from the world, but as part of a greater whole. The interconnectedness of all things becomes more apparent, and we start to recognize the unity of the universe. This expansion of consciousness allows us to let go of limiting beliefs and perceptions that once held us back, and we begin to operate from a place of greater wisdom and understanding. One of the key characteristics of this stage is the development of inner peace. After undergoing intense personal transformation and inner turmoil, we finally reach a place where we feel at peace with ourselves and the world around us. This sense of peace comes from the realization that we are enough just as we are, and that everything in life, both good and bad, has its purpose. We no longer feel the need to chase after external validation or accumulate material success to feel worthy. Instead, we embrace the present moment and allow ourselves to simply be. In this stage, we are also more able to experience true freedom. We are no longer constrained by the fears, doubts, or insecurities that once dominated our lives. The shadow aspects of our personality that we once resisted or feared have been integrated into our being, and we are able to approach life with a sense of wholeness and acceptance. We can step into the world with confidence and freedom, no longer held back by the limitations we once placed on ourselves. This stage is about alignment with our true self, alignment with the universe and alignment with the divine. We begin to live in harmony with the flow of life, trusting that everything happens for a reason and that our journey is unfolding exactly as it is meant to. We may still encounter challenges, but we now view them as opportunities for growth and deeper understanding rather than obstacles to our happiness. The advanced stage is marked by several distinctive qualities that reflect the expansion of consciousness and the sense of harmony that comes with it. Some of the most prominent characteristics include 1. A deep sense of peace and clarity in life. One of the clearest signs that you have entered the advanced stage is a profound sense of inner peace. This peace is not fleeting or dependent on external circumstances. It is a deep, lasting state of being that comes from within. You begin to feel more grounded, centered, and aligned with your true essence. In this state, you no longer feel the need to control or manipulate life because you understand that things unfold in their own time and in their own way. This sense of clarity allows you to make decisions with confidence and trust, knowing that you are in harmony with the flow of the universe. There is also a sense of calmness that comes with this peace. The internal noise, the constant chatter of the mind, the worries, the anxieties begins to quiet down, and you are able to experience life with a sense of presence and awareness. 2. Realizing that everything happens for a reason and that challenges have purpose. A major shift occurs in this stage. You begin to see that everything happens for a reason. This realization comes from an understanding that life is not random or arbitrary. Each experience, whether good or bad, serves a purpose in our spiritual evolution. Challenges that once seemed like obstacles are now seen as opportunities for growth. You begin to view difficulties as catalysts for deeper wisdom, understanding that they are helping you evolve into a more compassionate, wiser, and more resilient person. This shift in perspective brings a profound sense of acceptance and trust in the unfolding of life. You may also experience a heightened sense of gratitude for the lessons that life offers. Even in times of struggle, you begin to recognize the gifts that these experiences bring, whether they are opportunities to heal, learn, or awaken to new aspects of yourself. 3. A sense of freedom, no longer feeling isolated or trapped by personal limitations. A key feature of the advanced stage is the feeling of freedom. You are no longer bound by the fears and limitations that once governed your life. These fears, such as the fear of failure, fear of rejection, or fear of being unworthy, no longer control your thoughts or actions. Instead, you act from a place of confidence, self-love, and trust. You also begin to feel a deep sense of connection to others. Where there may have been feelings of isolation or separation in the past, there is now a growing awareness that you are part of something much larger. This sense of connection extends beyond human relationships to include the natural world and the universe itself. In this stage, you no longer feel trapped by the limitations of your ego or the stories you once told yourself about who you are. Instead, you embrace your authenticity and step into the world with a sense of empowerment. You trust your instincts and intuition, and you allow your true self to shine through in all that you do. How to overcome and thrive in the advanced stage. While the advanced stage is marked by a sense of peace and awakening, it still requires conscious effort to maintain this sense of harmony and balance. Here are some ways to stay grounded and continue thriving in this stage 1. Stay connected to yourself through stillness, meditation, or mindfulness practices. As you move through this stage, it is essential to stay connected to your inner self. One of the best ways to do this is through stillness and meditation. These practices help you maintain a sense of centeredness and awareness, allowing you to navigate the world without losing touch with your inner peace. Mindfulness is another powerful tool that can help you stay present and aware. By practicing mindfulness in everyday activities such as eating, walking, or even listening, you remain connected to the moment and avoid getting caught up in distractions or past regrets. Regular meditation helps quiet the mind and deepen your connection with the divine or your higher self. Even if you only take a few minutes each day to meditate, it can help you stay grounded in your truth and maintain your spiritual equilibrium. 2. Continue the spiritual journey through helping others, sharing wisdom, and inspiring those who are still searching. The advanced stage is not just about personal awakening, it is also about serving others. As you experience greater peace and clarity, you will feel a natural pull to share your wisdom with those who are still on their spiritual journey. Helping others, whether through direct acts of service, sharing your story, or offering guidance, allows you to live in alignment with your higher purpose. By inspiring others, you not only help them, but you also deepen your own understanding of the truths you've discovered. Additionally, teaching and sharing wisdom can be a way of integrating your knowledge. It helps you articulate and solidify your own insights while also creating positive change in the lives of others. This is the circular nature of awakening. As you awaken, you help awaken others. 3. Live in harmony with the flow of life. In this stage, the key to continued spiritual growth is to live in harmony with the flow of life. Trust the process of life, knowing that it is always unfolding in perfect timing, even if you can't see the full picture. Surrendering to life's flow doesn't mean passivity. It means being fully present in the moment, taking aligned action when necessary, and trusting that everything will fall into place as it should. This alignment with the flow of life brings a sense of ease and grace. You no longer feel like you need to struggle or force outcomes. Instead, you trust that life is guiding you exactly where you need to go. The advanced stage of spiritual transformation represents a profound shift in consciousness and a deep sense of harmony with the universe. After facing inner truths and overcoming personal challenges, we enter a stage where we feel more aligned with ourselves, others, and the divine. This stage is marked by the inner peace, clarity, and the freedom to live authentically. In this stage, we recognize that everything has purpose, and we approach life with a sense of gratitude and acceptance. We are no longer limited by fears or doubts, but live in the freedom of knowing that we are part of a much larger interconnected whole. As we continue our spiritual journey, it is essential to stay connected to our inner selves through practices like meditation and mindfulness, and to help others along the way. By living in harmony with the flow of life, we can maintain the peace and clarity we've gained and continue to evolve into our higher selves. Spiritual transformation is not a quick or easy process. It is a journey that unfolds in stages, each one uniquely designed to challenge us, help us grow, and bring us closer to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe. Whether we are in the early stages of confusion and searching, facing the deep inner work of self-discovery, or experiencing the peace and clarity of spiritual awakening, each phase serves a critical role in our spiritual development. Throughout these stages, we may encounter moments of discomfort, doubt, and fear. Yet it is in these very moments that we are given the opportunity to learn, heal, and evolve. The journey of spiritual transformation requires patience, self-compassion, and trust that each step, no matter how challenging, has a purpose. Understanding and accepting the different stages of transformation helps us navigate our spiritual path with more strength and clarity. We learn to embrace both the light and the shadow, understanding that every experience contributes to our growth and expansion. The more we allow ourselves to fully experience each stage, the more we can align with our true selves and the universal wisdom that is guiding us. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be on your journey. You may not have all the answers right now, and the path may feel uncertain at times, but remember that each stage of transformation has its own lessons and blessings. Every challenge you face and every breakthrough you experience is an essential part of your spiritual development. So if you're feeling stuck or unsure, know that you are not alone. Your journey is unique and it is unfolding in perfect timing. Embrace the process and continue exploring with an open heart and mind. Keep learning, keep growing, and trust in the guidance of your higher power. As you continue on this path, know that you're becoming more aligned with your true purpose and your highest potential. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more meaningful content. Together, let's continue exploring and awakening to our spiritual truths.